I have to address this Opie radio clip. I was going to pull this myself and play it, and then Opie put it out. You know how he likes to make his little videos now for the clickbaity videos that are just 40 seconds long?
Yeah.
So he actually put this out, which I was surprised by. And in order to talk about this whole saga between Opie and Anthony and Bill Burr and Club Soda Kenny, we're going to set all of this up if you don't know about this, but this has been the big news going on. I mentioned in episode 400 that Anthony was at the Comedy Cellar, tried to go talk to Bill Burr, and Bill Burr's security, who happened to be Club Soda Kenny, used to work for the Opie and Anthony show, physically removed Anthony from the club. So that's the big news that's going on. And this is an extremely misguided video about me. And I want to bring in, I mentioned I have a special guest on the show today to talk about this, because this is a guy who's also kind of involved in this whole scene. He used to have a show on Compound Media. He's had multiple falling outs with Anthony himself. I think he's friends with Opie now. I'm not sure, but I thought it'd be great to bring on Kevin Brennan. He doesn't normally go on other people's shows, but he's coming on WATP. Kevin Brennan, what's happening, buddy?
Okay, I'm just going to start out right now and say Carl's a fucking idiot.
Oh, come on, Kevin. I thought we were friends here. I thought
You're
we were
a fucking idiot, Carl. And then you had this guy on the show who goes, hey, this podcast sucks. Here's 47 clips of it.
I know. He goes, this is hard to clip. There's 50 clips from one episode.
Here's 47. They suck. They all suck. Listen to them all.
Good point, Kevin. That's why I brought you up. He is a piazza. I agree with you. Okay, so check this out. This was made by Opie and his team, and Cardiff's in on the fucking act now. Cardiff is now introducing these clips.
It's me, your pal Cardiff Electric, and you're watching a clip from Opie Radio.
No, this is called WATP being very hypocritical when it comes to Anthony. That's the name of this clip. All right.
I find it hypocritical that WATP is silent about the chest bump incident, yet they attack everyone else. Oh!
The Kenny Club Soda.
Oh! Minaj coming in hot.
AGH.
Minaj coming in hot. That is a very, very good point. If you're going to go down that road, you got to make fun of everybody. We made fun of everybody.
He did talk about the story.
Cardiff, I know you got a relationship over here, but that's a very good point by Minaj. Mm-hmm. Because if you're doing it right, like Opie and Anthony did, we made fun of everybody. Mm-hmm. Everybody. There's a lot there to make fun of. I'll be honest. My little video about it blew up. It did very, very well. So they need to do that, and they would get a lot of views. Mm-hmm. Go for it. Mm-hmm. Why not? Anthony's all about, it's all just fun and games. Mm-hmm. That's a very good point.
WATP,
that is a very good point.
WATP did address it, but no, he did not go after him, no.
All right.
See, this is what's so annoying about Opie right here, is he reads a comment. He doesn't know anything about this. Carter's trying to explain to him the whole fucking time. He keeps trying to get a word in. They're like, no, they addressed it. I talked about it. And Opie's going, yeah, why wouldn't you do that? First off, my show format is we make fun of podcasts. So if someone's going to podcast about it, which Opie did, then we'll address it, which I will. But I just find it very obnoxious that Opie feel like that was a big gotcha for you. Oh, a super chatter said Carl sucks. He must be right.
Well, listen, I'm just going to say Opie's a fucking genius, so.
I've never heard Kevin say that word before. Never heard
he's talking to potatoes, he's talking to corn. I mean, he's fucking blowing up.
He is blowing up.
He's selling tickets.
He is blowing up and selling tickets. So later on in that same video, I just want to play this quick clip because this is embarrassing for Opie. He gets very excited about the number of people who are watching him live on this.
148 strong. I see 196.
Oh, wait, what?
Yeah, Bob, because I do both Facebook and YouTube. So the total right now is 195. Oh, it's 189. Oh, I hate when that happens.
Christian, could you ever imagine Opie from Opie and Anthony would be celebrating having close to 200 people watching him live?
I couldn't imagine Dennis Falcone being excited about 195 people watching him stream live.
Has performed in front of more people at a wedding. It's not impressive. And I got to say that, Kevin Brennan, you have way more than 200 people watching your show live.
148. I don't even get out of bed for 148 people. I used to go to Compound for $100, but now I don't get out of bed for 148 people. This is stupid.
Yeah, and you know what Opie's doing? He's reading $2 super chats. Can you believe that?
Again, Opie's a genius. So.
Okay, I didn't realize.
What can I say?
So you can never stop to take too many super chats. I agree with Kevin on that.
Now, what Opie was referring to in that previous video was that he made a video called Anthony versus Bill Burr. It has 17,000 views. This is gold for Opie. This blew up for Opie, him addressing this whole situation. And so it starts off bashing Jim Norton. I don't know why he felt the need to do this, but he did.
After seeing his dear friend Jimmy perform, yuck. Where's Jimmy? Where's Jimmy when it comes to the Anthony Cumia versus Bill Burr thing? I'll tell you where he is. He has his taint. Jim Norton has his taint sitting exactly in the middle of the fence. That's where Jimmy is. Jim Norton, right there with his taint, right on the fence. Supporting Anthony a little bit, supporting Bill a little bit, because he doesn't want to piss off either guy. So stupid Jimmy and his dumb fat taint is sitting right there on the fence.
Boom! Hot take. Now, I think you're allowed to be friends with both guys, right? You have to take sides. When two guys argue, you have to decide which side you're on. Is that how life works?
I mean, Opie should understand that because almost everyone sided with Anthony when the two of them split up, and I mean, just Vic Henley was with Opie, and everybody else was like, "Yeah, I'm going to be Team Anthony on this."
Yeah, Joe DeRosa and Vic Henley. Now, look, I think if you call someone's wife ugly, they're allowed to not like you anymore.
Sure,
but also, Bill Burr's wife is not hot. Can we all agree on that? Kevin, can we agree on that?
Listen, I'm a father. That offends me. I'm not a racist or anything. I can't tell. I think Bill Burr's wife is beautiful.
This is not the Kevin I was expecting. He's really team Opie.
I'm gonna put my taint on the fence with Jim Norton because I never know who I'm gonna ask for a job. So I'll just say I've never seen Bill Burr's wife, so I have no idea.
Well, that's the other thing too. It sounds like, and we're gonna play more clips of this. It sounds like Opie just learned the word taint, and he thinks it's hilarious. He's like, this guy, you know what he's doing? He's sitting on the fence with his taint.
It's number 2 to skunk farts.
It's up there.
Yeah.
All right. So now this is Opie talking about how he never clicks on videos. He talks about this all the time. He loves to be uninformed. And it makes it difficult to do the job of commentating on all the things going on in your universe if you don't know anything about what's going on in your universe. But Opie loves this. He loves to not know. He's keeping it real uninformed. So this is him explaining that just this week, he finally had to click on some of these videos to see what was doing, but he never clicks on these videos. You have to trust him. Even though he did, he never does.
Everyone was sending me this video of Anthony explaining what happened at the Comedy Cellar. And I've been for a very long time, I don't click on anything. And I went against my own rules twice this week. Twice. So when I break my rule, I'm going to tell you. Because when I tell people I don't click on anything, they don't believe me. I don't click on anything. But then when I get a weak moment and I click on something, I feel like I got to tell you guys.
So obviously that was very contradicting himself when he says, I never click on things and I would tell you guys. And I did click on 2 things this week, but I never do, but I did. But he finally became informed on a subject. He clicked on a link and watched a video that he can now respond to. This is a 50-minute long video he put out, 17,000 views. Opie, click on shit. It's probably good for you to know what you're talking about. It's probably not a bad idea. I don't know why he has the moral high ground just because he's not clicking on links. And Patty Puke Water, the same thing. Click on shit. Know what you're talking about. It doesn't hurt. If you want to make fun of me, listen to a show. See what we're talking about. Makes it easier. For some reason, Opie's very upset with Jim Norton. Kevin, what do you think about Jim Norton?
Oh, Jim's a fucking idiot.
Okay, that's what I thought you were going to say. That's what I thought you were going to say. So Opie is explaining that Jim is a phony, which is odd to me because this is what I listened to that Jim and Sam episode from, I think it was Monday. And, a caller calls in. He's like, oh, you're not going to talk about this, Jim? Jim's like, yeah, I'll talk about whatever the fuck you want. He explains, just like we heard on that clip. I'll play it again. I don't give a shit.
Everyone's fighting with Stuttering John. I like Stuttering John. This one's fighting with that one. I like Shuley. I like Carl. And I like all these guys.
He likes Anthony. He likes Bill. He likes Club Soda Kenny. He likes all these people. What's he supposed to do? Just decide like, okay, I'm not going to be friends with this person anymore because they had a falling out. So now Opie's just got to get some shots in on Jim Norton. And again, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
So I guess the story goes, Anthony went and saw Jim Norton, and then Jim Norton was at the Black Pussycat, pretty much doing the same material that he's been doing for over 10 years. And then Anthony's like, you know what, I'm close. I'm going to go to the cellar, which is stupid because there's so many people at the cellar that simply don't like him because of his race talk. So
Opie's just making shit up now, which is not good content. So to say that Jim Norton's doing the same material he's been doing for the last 10 years, Opie has said he's never seen Jim's material in this time. And I've seen Jim Norton live probably 10 times, and it's always been different. The one thing about Jim, he's pretty prolific when it comes to writing material. He's not just rehashing.
I saw one of those, whatever, the Black Pussycat shows last May when I was there. And it was a complete hour. I'd never heard him even talk about stuff on the radio. A little bit since then, some of those things have come up. But he talks about his new girlfriend. And clearly, Opie hasn't heard any of his new material because if he had, he'd know exactly where Jim's taint is on a regular basis.
But it's just an insane thing to make fun of Jim Norton for is not updating his material. That's one thing he's very, very good at. And he's a very funny comic, I have to say.
He's very funny. I mean, that hour's great. And, on the show, it's not like he's ever like, oh, I don't want to talk about that. I mean, it's, I don't know anything that I know so much more about Jim Norton than I know about any other human being on the earth. And I don't know if I'm comfortable with some of the things I know about him.
Fair enough. I understand what you mean by that. Now, Kevin Brennan doesn't even like stand-up comedy. He thinks it's all stupid.
Stand-up comedy is fucking stupid. It's fucking dumb. Why go fucking play shows when you can just sit in your house and talk to people?
That's a good point.
They give you money. They're idiots.
That's a good point. I guess if I could just sit in my house and read super chats all day, I would probably do that. All right. So listen, I'm going to say this because everyone's just like, Carl never addresses this. Like, I'm not a fan of Anthony's tirades against black people. I'm not a fan of that at all. I hate it. I think the problems with this country have a lot more to do with socioeconomics than race, because I've watched enough episodes of Cops that I know that poor white people are up to some crazy ass shit and they're not to be trusted. So I don't really think it has a lot to do with the race. I think it's about how much money you have and growing up and things like that. But the fact that Opie is saying that there should be places you're not allowed to go to because you have a different opinion than the people who are at that place. It's like, I don't know why Anthony's even going to the cellar. People don't like him there. It's like, so wait, what kind of country do we live in? There's most places I go to, the people who are there would not agree with me on a political basis. Does that mean I'm not allowed to go there anymore? I can't have a hot dog? I can't have a vegan hot dog from this place because people don't have the same political opinion as I do? I don't understand that at all.
Yeah, I think my bubble would be very small here in Los Angeles if I was only going to go to events and places where, like, well, they're going to agree with me, aren't they?
Yeah, you go to Dennis Miller's house in Orange County, and that's it. Those are your two choices.
I was at one of those places yesterday.
So, Opie now goes into an extremely unfunny Bob Kelly impression. I like when Opie's feeling it because he really is terrible at this.
Well, because Minaj gave him 14 czars, which was the monetary fund that he gave him. And so he's like, oh, I'm really feeling myself here. Watch this.
Yeah, he's crushing it now. He's got his audience here.
So he goes up to Bill Burr because supposedly Bob Kelly's like, dude, you got to figure this out with Bill Burr, dude. We all need to get along, dude. what a whole bunch of phony comedians make believe they get along with each other. They all despise each other, especially the ones that are more famous than them, but they'll sit around publicly, hey, make sure you check out blah blah special. He's the funniest guy in the business. But behind the scenes are like, F that guy. Should be me. Dude, you need to figure it out with Bill Burr, dude. Because everyone needs to get along. No, none of those guys get along.
So this is all projecting. Now, Christian, I know that you know comedians who run in different circles, probably on the West Coast. I know some on the East Coast here. Opie was always jealous of Howard and always wanted to have Howard's job. So he doesn't like Howard because of that. He doesn't realize that a lot of other people are pretty content with where they're at, and they can be friends with other comics who are maybe doing better than them or not as good as them. It's very possible to have these relationships without being jealous of everyone.
Yeah, not every comedian is Rich Voss. All the rest of them are happy for everyone else's success.
Right.
Voss is not, but I think Colin and Jim and Bob, they're all happy for each other. They like spending time. Because they make fun of each other.
They obviously do, like ball busting and hanging out. And Opie's going, none of these guys even like each other, because that's what his radio experience is. You know, it's about ratings or jealousy, obviously. So he goes on to explain how stupid Anthony is for wanting to make up with Bill Burr, who, by the way, they used to be friends. So it's not that crazy to want to do that.
So stupid Anthony goes, you know what? I'm going to work it out with Bill Burr. Not realizing that, like, the stuff he said about Bill Burr's wife, that's a game changer. It's a game changer. Simple as that.
So Anthony's not allowed to try to mend the fence. I don't know. I wouldn't knock Anthony for going up and being like, hey, Bill, you know, can we make up on this? Or what do I need to do? No, obviously Bill has every right to be like, get the fuck out of my face and get out of this club right now. And which he did, which is fine. But I don't have any. Who has a problem with Anthony approaching Bill to say like, "Hey, man, are we cool?" I don't know why that's the problem.
Yeah, I mean, just as it's fine for Bill to be like, "Yeah, we're not cool," you know, and Anthony's like, "I was just trying to say that your wife is Janet Jackson on Good Times ugly, not ugly, you know."
So, you know, that probably wouldn't have helped at all.
No, you're right. Probably wouldn't have. That's probably why I don't have friends. Why I can't go to the Comedy Cellar.
So, of course, now he's talking about how dumb Anthony is. This is how dumb Opie is. He doesn't even understand the difference here between what Anthony was trying to do and what Opie would do with Howard.
Jim Norton is one of them. Howard Stern's another one of them. I wouldn't just casually walk up to Howard after all the crap I've said over the years and go, hey, Howard.
Yeah, that's because you and Howard were never friends. That's the difference here. Anthony and Bill were friends. Club Soda Kenny's there hanging out with them. They were all friendly. They used to do shows together all the time. So the fact that Anthony would go up and be like, hey, man, is very different than Opie going up to Howard. And Opie is like talked about Howard's kids. It got real personal, like some real crazy shit. Howard does not like Opie at all for probably good reason. I don't think Howard likes me either.
If the guy that you see on your screen right now walked up to Howard, got close enough to him, do you think Howard would have any idea who that person is?
No, definitely not.
That's not Opie.
And it wouldn't matter because whoever was with Howard would tackle this guy and beat the shit out of him for even getting close to him.
All Opie could hope for is to cough on him and ruin the rest of his week.
Right. All right. So this is uninformed Opie strikes again.
So Bill had every right to be beyond pissed. And I don't even know the extent. I just know in broad strokes that he's been incredibly crappy towards Bill Burr.
So he doesn't even know what Anthony said about Bill. They've gotten Bill so upset. But he knows for a fact that he should not have even tried to apologize to him or to make up for it. Kevin, do you know what this is? Like why Bill's upset with Anthony?
Bill's upset with Anthony because Anthony's kind of a fucking idiot for going up to him. I don't understand why he even tried to, rekindle this whole thing. What does he think? Bill's not going to put him in the Mandalorian. There were no Tunisian back alley knife fighters in the Star Wars back then. He's not going to. Anthony had nothing to gain from this. Anthony's kind of a fucking idiot.
He's kind of a piazza because what
He's a piazza.
Yeah, we're too old to have. What are we gonna have friends now? How many friends do we have? Who cares? Why are we making friends? So that's like what piazzas do.
Right. What is everybody, Ray DeVito? I want to be everyone's friend. Ray, you're a fucking hack.
All right. That's why I brought Kevin on. I was hoping he would shed some light on the subject for us. All right. Opie, right back to talking about Jim Norton for some reason.
All right, let's now go to Jim Norton and see what he has to say about the big Bill Burr versus Anthony Cumia. Oh, as he's balancing his stupid taint, his stupid worn-out taint, right in the middle of the fence. Well, you know, who can help me more? Obviously Bill Burr can help me more, so I gotta lean this way a little bit, but you never know. Anthony can get hot again.
I just discovered something here. This is the way Opie thinks. This is the reason why he's saying this is because Opie is only friendly with someone who can help him out for his career. So he's like, that must be the way Jim thinks. I think Jim genuinely isn't looking for handouts from Bill or Anthony. I think he genuinely likes both of those guys.
And you know who could help Opie with his career? Everyone. Literally everyone. Everyone in show business and out of show business.
Dude, if Opie listened to like 17 minutes of one of these podcasts, it would help him with his career. There's a lot of things he could do to get better. But I just
could do a Hey Riddle Riddle.
I think he'd be a great guest on that show because he also doesn't know how to improv. The taints. Good stuff, Opie.
He really is crushing it with the impressions on today's episode, by the way.
It doesn't even fucking make sense. So then he contradicts himself. This is all from the same video where he says, why would you try to make up with Bill? I'm not going to make up with Howard. I've said too many terrible things about him.
But you casually walk over to Bill like, oh, Bill's going to understand everything by now. We're going to work it out. No, you don't work it out. No. I've said some crazy, outrageous stuff. I've burned a lot of bridges. I'm not going to try to rebuild the bridge. I'm not going to walk up to Howard. Hey, Howard, hi. I did try through people we both knew. Very carefully. I didn't approach him with like, hey, Howard, why don't we try to work this out?
Opie's a fucking idiot.
Okay, Opie might be a fucking idiot.
He just said I wouldn't try to make up with Howard. He goes, I did try to make up with Howard at one point. But I did it differently than Anthony did. Okay. Sure.
Yeah, I had someone else try to do it for me.
Yeah. That's better. That's the better way to do it than just walk up to someone like a man and try to shake their hand. No, that's definitely the way to go about it, Ope.
I sent a DM to Ralph Cirillo, thought maybe you could help me out.
He's such an idiot. And then somebody comments about how Anthony, I guess, destroyed Opie. You know, the fans have to make it so dramatic, obviously.
Ant destroyed you last week. I don't care. Anthony has no credibility whatsoever. So, did he destroy me? What did Jim Norton do? This is Jim trying to balance on the fence. How do I do this? I got to talk to both these guys now. Oh, and hopefully neither guy will know that will be on to me, I should say. Shut up. He can destroy me all he wants. He has no credibility. Zero.
He obviously is very proud of that Jim thing he's doing with the fence and the taint. He loves it.
Which, by the way, if you are ever actually trying to stay on a fence, you don't move so much. Yeah. You actually hold still and grab on. You don't rock back and forth and try to move your hands like the mummy.
Who are you, Bob Levy? How do you know so much about sitting on a fence? That's very impressive, sir. So I love that he goes, Anthony has no credibility. Well, when it comes to broadcasting, he actually has a lot more credibility than a lot of people. He was fired from SiriusXM and decided to start his own network that's been going on for close to 10 years now, where Opie got a job with Westwood One and now has this sad show on YouTube. Listen, I like the vegetable show too. Don't get me wrong. You know, Cardiff and friends are definitely making it more interesting, but Opie should not be talking about anyone's credibility. That's not the right thing to be discussing on this. And then Mr. Doesn't Click on Anything is going to tell you exactly how much responsibility Anthony takes for what's going on in everyone's lives.
It's nuts. Anthony Cumia hasn't taken responsibility for anything. I need to take responsibility for more stuff. I understand that. But he hasn't taken responsibility for nothing. I'm a revisionist man. Am I a revisionist man? Am I?
So why does Opie think he knows anything about what anyone talks about? When he says he doesn't click, he doesn't watch, he doesn't listen, and he's like, yeah, and Anthony doesn't take responsibility. Anthony takes a ton of responsibility. He knows what he did. I don't understand why Opie thinks this.
Idiot.
He really is.
Opie's a fucking idiot. You got me to say it. Opie's a fucking idiot.
Because Kevin, you know how this is. It's fine if you want to bury your head in the sand. You can do that, but then don't pop up and be like, yeah, and you know what? That guy's an asshole, and that person said this, and that guy said that. It's like, no, you don't know anything. You already just said you don't know anything. So don't act like you know shit now. You got to pick one. All right. And then it closes up here with Opie explaining that Bill doesn't owe anything to Opie and Anthony. Bill was going to get famous either way. He's a talent. He's a very talented comedian.
That guy was going to be massively famous no matter what, including, I saw this online, the Philly rant that went viral because of Opie and Anthony. That's why Bill Burr's so famous. He was going to be famous no matter what, brothers and sisters. Can I get an amen? Cheers.
Okay.
Cheers.
Now, I have to ask you, Kevin, I know that you're planning on having Opie on Misery Loves Company soon. If he's acting like this, if he's this animated, is this what you're hoping for, or are you going to kick him off?
Oh, no, of course. I always want an animated Opie.
Okay.
The more the piazza, the better.
He really is acting like a piazza on this.
He's a full-blown piazza.
He's got way too much self-confidence for some reason during this video.
The two potatoes and the corn really helped him out.
I agree with you. In fact, I'll bring on one of those potatoes who's been waiting patiently. He was rocking out with us a little while ago, but Cardiff Electric, what's happening, buddy? Uh-oh. Does he know that he's on?
Oh, hello.
Oh, hello.
Really jumped the shark here, haven't you?
I never know if you're paying attention or not, Cardiff. All right.
Oh, another show with the potato. Great.
I know. Oh, no, you talk to a potato. Everyone's talking to the potato.
You talk to a potato. Everyone talks to a potato.
Now, I'm not going to play any clips of the Florida comedian. As we know, that's not happening on the show. But there's some things going on that we need to address. Because the Florida comedian, well, he had Godfrey on his show. And they were discussing this incident. And Godfrey, who's a black comedian, said that Anthony is going to get punched out next time he goes to the cellar. Because he's a racist and everyone hates him and he's going to get punched out. And then Anthony came on and said, oh, yeah? Is that right, Godfrey? So Anthony decided to go back to the cellar that night after he said that. And he brought a black woman as a date. And walked into the cellar and hung out there and was pretty much daring Godfrey to come and fight him. And so the Florida comedian then tweeted out, for some reason, it's confirmed Anthony did not go to the Comedy Cellar last night. For some reason, this lying liar decided to lie on Twitter again and go, oh, Anthony didn't even go to this thing. And so Anthony's like, why would you say that? That's so stupid. So that's kind of where we pick things up here on the Anthony Cumia show from yesterday.
I think I make up a story because I just told, I gave a pretty accurate description of what happened last night. Everything that transpired from the time we went into the cellar to when we left. And it wasn't one of these insane Chad Zumach stories. So then Noam got up and he took a swing at me with a trombone from, the band. And it went, mom. And I was like, holy shit. Let me see that. That's a good little riff. And I went, ba-da-da-ba. And before you know it, I was in the band. The end. Chad Zumach. You douche sack. He's so fucking dumb. And I hate talking about him. I really do, because it gives him it gives him viewers because people will then go, oh, what's Chad going to say about this? And I think that's a big motivator for him. But look, I said it yesterday. He should be down on his knees, blowing all of us, me, Carl. Who else does that? Even the Misery Loves Company guys.
The potato. Let's not forget the potato there. And the list of people to blow. But I think, Kevin, you get brought up here. That's good. I agree.
All the people, Shuley, all the people that rag on him, Levy, he should be called every day. Guys, thank you so fucking much. I had no one watching my show. No one. My Patreon was like nothing. And then you start talking about me, you goof on me, I start talking about it, and all of a sudden, do you really think suddenly you got funny, Chad? Do you?
See, this is actually a very good observation. This was really the whole point of the Tampa Accord, was to see what would happen, because it's not like the Florida comedian is all of a sudden a comedian.
Suddenly you got funny,
now,
Chad.
although you're not technically violating the Tampa Accord, this is definitely not within the spirit of the agreement playing this clip, but please continue.
All right, fair enough.
Do you really think that? That somehow, in the course of a few months, you found your chops, you found your comedy fucking zone, or people want to hear your stupid fucking reply to everyone shitting on you. And that's fine, too. I don't care how a man makes his money. But let's be honest here, Chad Zumach. It ain't your hilarity that's making people tune in. Same thing with Stuttering John. He had nobody watching him. And then, of course, Carl, with Who Are These Podcasts, starts talking about him. And he started building a good audience because people just wanted to hear the next stupid thing he'd say that is going to make Who Are These Podcasts show.
He's making a lot of good points here, Potato. You have to understand. I think even Kevin's agreeing with Anthony, even though he's not a fan of his anymore.
He did forget about Mersh.
Right.
Yes.
The Stuttering John thing?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. You'd listen to John and go, oh, God, they are absolutely going to rip this apart. And then you watch Who Are These Podcasts and go, oh, yeah, cool. That part I knew they'd talk about, they're talking about it. This is great. So, it builds an audience for the poor fucks. And Chad's right in that zone, but he'll never admit it. But he knows it. If you're smart enough to actually be able to walk, maybe communicate through some lies, you're smart enough to realize why people are paying attention to you. And now, when you watch his little thing spike up, his little internet traffic thing spike up, you'll see that it was because of this and the Godfrey thing and me going to the cellar and me offering you without any fucking hook, $10,000. I'm offering Chad Zumach $10,000 to prove I was not at the cellar last night. 10 grand. And I am deadly serious about this. You give me proof. Show me fucking proof. And I will hand you 10 grand. Tax free. How about that? There you go. There, you're in. I'll even pay the taxes on it. I'll pay the fucking taxes on your $10,000 gift if you prove I wasn't at the cellar last night. Go.
I think Anthony was at the cellar. I think Chad was wrong about. The Florida comedian was wrong about that.
How exactly was that transformative content that you just played?
It wasn't. I just wanted to play the Anthony show out here.
Oh, okay.
He's making a lot of good points.
Cardiff, you missed the part where Anthony mentioned many times how good How Are These Podcasts are and how much Carl is doing God's work.
Yeah.
That outweighs the Tampa Accords. Praise from a radio legend is much more important than the Florida comedian.
Yeah, thank you, Christian. This potato gets on him with Opie twice a week, and now he thinks he's the king of showbiz over here. Thinks he knows how all this stuff works. By the way, Kevin Brennan, some people in the Discord don't believe I have the real Kevin Brennan on because you're not interrupting to read super chats. at all.
Well, you don't have any super chats. Where are all your super chats?
That's the
Why do you
problem.
do this?
That is the problem right there. That's why it might not even seem like it's the real Kevin Brennan because you're not used to him not interrupting with super chats so often.
Yatsas.
All right. So this is funny because obviously that was more focused on the Florida comedian, but now we're going to bring this back around to Opie because Opie is the exact same guy. Like he needs shit like this to happen for anyone to pay attention to what Opie has to say.
Yeah, the Opester, Opie's got to do what he's got to do. And let me tell you, he's just like fucking Zumach and Stuttering John. Opie's in the same fucking category. He's rich, but he's in the same category of, he smells something and goes, oh, this could get me viewers. And if it involves me or Jimmy or something else, but if it involves me and Jimmy and like Bill Burr and shit, he's creaming himself wanting to talk about it because he knows, again, it's going to get views and it's going to, boost his
You wouldn't
audience.
think he was rich the way he talks in the mornings. He's begging for dollars, begging for stars.
I just got $5. You sent me $5. Thank you.
I like Opie, though. He's entertaining.
All right. And I saw the other day when Cardiff was on, because that's must-see TV right there, Cardiff and Opie. Someone donated $20, and Opie lost his fucking mind. Cardiff had to get the guitar out. They had to dance for a while.
It was a big moment.
Yeah, it was big bucks. Big bucks coming in.
I'd like to ask everybody to tune in this Friday to the Opie show for Thursdays with Cardiff returning this Friday. I promised him over 200 people in the chat, so
Cardiff,
please
can
help
I
us
just
deliver.
give you a little piece of advice?
No.
Okay. Why are you calling it Thursdays with Cardiff and it's on Friday mornings? This is very confusing for people. They're not going to know when to tune in. Just make it more easy.
Like what?
Fridays. Friday mornings with Cardiff. Fuck's
Is that a little
sake.
too on the nose?
Yes, it's supposed to be on the nose. Jesus. All right.
You're in marketing, aren't you?
Yes, I used to be in marketing.
I'll take that under advisement.
Maybe you should get a trans person to be your spokesperson on there. Maybe that would help you. Get a lot of buzz that way. That's what a lot of marketing professionals are doing these days. Get a bunch of piazzas promoting your product.
Piazzas.
All right, so now Kurt Metzger joins the show. Kurt Metzger is the guest in the second hour of the Anthony Cumia show. And listen, this conversation has moved on. We've moved on from this. We're not talking about it anymore, except for a caller calls in as Kurt is waiting to go on and tries to catch Anthony with a legal issue here. Because if Anthony was just at the Olive Tree, which is the restaurant upstairs in the cellar, then he wasn't technically in the cellar, which means he would owe the Florida comedian $10,000 plus whatever the tax liability is for that. And so that's a whole conversation. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is Kurt Metzger, who I love. I'm a huge fan of his. He's on Jimmy Dore. He's been on a ton of things. He was on with Dick recently. He's never heard of the Florida comedian, lo and behold.
Googling Chad Zumach.
I didn't know there's the Zumach case you cracked just now.
That was huge. Well, Chad doesn't think I was at the cellar last night because he didn't think I had the balls to go down there because Godfrey had said he was going to punch me next time he sees me at the cellar.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. So I went down there last night. I went down there.
All right. So then it goes on to talk about this threat from Godfrey, and Kurt is like just coming into this cold. He's going, I don't understand what any of this is or what you're talking about.
But and then me and Bill Burr have kind of a beef and whatever. And I don't even care about that. Club Soda Kenny, But Godfrey wanted to inject himself into this somehow by using the race card and saying that, I'm a racist and that's why Bill doesn't like me. And so he's trying all this shit. And then he said if he ever sees me down at the cellar, this was yesterday, he goes, he's going to kick my ass. Well, then a few hours after I heard that, I was at the cellar. I went to the cellar with a black chick, because...
wait, but how does Chad Zumach fit into this?
Exactly. Chad wants to be relevant so bad, and he's kind of this, he considers himself a comic.
I looked him up. I just looked him up because I was just like, I didn't know who that was.
Yeah, you don't know who it is. You'll never know Chad Zumach's
Can
name.
you pause it right there for a second, Carl?
Yeah.
He doesn't know who that is?
Yeah, he doesn't.
Kurt Metzger has been on Compound Media with Chad Zumach.
That's the kind of impact he made on him.
April 11th, 2017, on the Anthony Cumia show.
That's hilarious.
They were both together.
He goes, he looks vaguely familiar. Well, in Kurt's defense, Chad's put on a lot of weight since then. So if he's Googling recent pictures, I could see why that'd be a hard time.
Who it is. You'll never know Chad Zumach's name.
His face looks vaguely familiar, so he might be like Red Eye or something.
I don't know. You ever see a boxer's ass? That's probably what you. Yeah, that's the dog, not the athlete, not the sportsman. Yeah. I assume you didn't see a boxer's ass, but everyone's seen a boxer's ass. I get it. So he's just trying to, again, inject himself in. He gets views. He gets Patreon followers when he discusses me and shit that's going on with various comedians and whatnot. And then Godfrey was doing Chad's podcast. I don't know why. Again, it's even too low for fucking Godfrey to be on, and that's where the threat came in. So I figured I was going out with an old intern of us, Francine, who used to be at NEW with me, and I had this plan for a few days already. She goes, "Oh, I'm in town," so I'm like, "Yeah, let me go down to the Comedy Cellar." She was born in Rwanda. She's a Tutsi.
All right. So that's the latest that's going on here, and all this controversy around Anthony and Bill and the Comedy Store and Opie and Godfrey and a bunch of piazzas.
What is Cardiff's punishment for saying the name of the Florida comedian a moment ago? I didn't want to interrupt the flow, but does he have to get carted off to the Hague or something? I mean, he has to answer for these war crimes.
Yeah, we'll determine that.
I've been punished enough for being the face of this bit.
Good point.
I think that's about right.
That's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like what I said to Gino, where I'm like, don't press charges. I mean, the damage has already been done, you know? It's fine. What else can you do to this potato? He's gone through enough. One more quick clip, because Opie had the guy, Dabbler's Unanimous. You guys know who that is?
Mm-hmm. Doing a show with him tomorrow.
You're doing a show with him, Cardiff? Of course you are. Kevin, what do
Van Halen 3.
What do you think about him, Kevin Brennan?
The Gary Sharon record?
Yes.
I'll be there for that, Cardiff. I love that.
Yeah, what a great topic. What do you think about Dabbler's Unanimous, Kevin? Did you know about him?
I said he's a fucking hack.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is funny because Opie has him on, and Opie admits that he's not doing a great show right now and that it could be a lot better.
That when I found out...
Sorry. Give me some insight on this whole world, because it's frustrating because, like, I've had an amazing career. I'm going to be a little cocky right now. I've seen the world through my radio shows over the years. Mm-hmm. Now I'm doing this and just having fun. I know I could develop something way better than this, but I don't know if I want to. And then I have these shows like yours, Christopher, who haven't done anything in their lives, taking shots at me.
I understand. I understand that totally.
So Opie's trying to say that we can't goof on him because he's had more success in radio than we have. So that would mean there's only a few people in the world that could possibly goof on, like Rush Limbaugh, Howard Stern. I might throw Artie Lang in there. The very few people are allowed to goof on Opie just because of the career that he had. And of course, Dabbler's Unanimous on here. He's just like, oh yeah, I know, you're right. Ooh, my bad. Ooh. Kind of pussing out there a little bit. I don't know if you guys never picked up on that. All right.
It's why Cardiff shouldn't talk bad about Van Halen 3, because Van Halen 2 was so good.
Van Halen 2 is phenomenal.
Exactly.
And I got to see Van Halen live when Gary Sharon, they were touring for the Van Halen 3 album with Gary Sharon. And I won tickets to like go to the sound check and everything. And a little disappointed. A little disappointed in that show. I mean, I'm more of a David Lee Roth era Van Halen fan. Not a lot of that going on at that show. I think.
Yeah, I understand there were plenty of tickets available.
I know. When I say
tour.
one ticket, so like the radio station's just like, here, kid, take these. No one else wants them. All right.
Who are these podcasts? WAT.